So since the last episode of training from nothing to a Terminator, a person approached me and challenged me to a race to see who could get the Terminator faster. His name is Chronic MC. He's fairly new to YouTube, but if you want to see his perspective on the race, his channel will be linked in the description. Also, if you're enjoying this series so far, consider subscribing because it helps me towards my goal of getting the YouTube rank. Alright, without further ado, let's get into the video. So just like last video, we have the same amount of coins that we left off with, about 100 mil coins. And if you didn't know already, that is a pretty good amount of money to actually start lowballing. But I quickly ran into a problem. Because I was on a new profile, I had a daily coin limit of 50 mil. And if you can imagine, that's not really optimal, as if I want to buy an item, then I would have to buy it from their auction or buy it with enchanted diamond blocks, which then I would have to pay taxes. But I still ended up buying these Divan leggings for 77 mil. After a little bit of searching, I found a guy who wanted to buy my Divan leggings for 81 mil in enchanted diamond blocks. But when I sold it to the bazaar, it came out to be 79 mil. Nevertheless, I still made 2 mil. I then noticed that if I bought this wither artifact for 47 mil and buy 8 wither catalysts, I could craft it into a legendary wither relic, which I could then sell for 65 mil, which would be about an 8 mil flip if that sells. This wouldn't be a sleepless video without a wither goggle flip, so here's me buying 2 of them. I put them straight back up on AH, and if they sold, that would be a solid 7 mil. Little did I know, the flips I just did were all for nothing, because the very next day, I hopped on Hypixel to look how my flips were doing, and to my surprise, the auction and bazaar were closed. Yeah, so turns out there was another big dupe, and the admins had to close everything. So in the meantime, me and Chronic, aka the person that challenged me to the race, did some murder mystery, and it turns out murder mystery is secretly a horror game. Here's a little clip of what went down.
If I had a bow and arrow, which is a projectile. Oh my.
Here's another clip, but there isn't any sound, but you can still see the sheer horror in my face when I saw him sitting right next to me. Anyways, that's enough of that, but after playing 4 days of murder mystery, the auction and bazaar finally opened. But just as I suspected, a lot of items crashed down in price, including the items I bought before the auction closed. But in the end, I still made a solid 3 mil profit, which is whatever. Now at this point of time, the Technoblade shop came back, and for a flipper, this means there is a lot of opportunity to make some pretty good profit, and that's exactly what I ended up doing. So I ended up buying crab hats for 1 to 2 mil per, and I sold them for 4 to 5 mil per. The market for crab hats were extremely fast, so if you could snipe them, you can make some pretty good profit. If I hopped on earlier, I probably would have made a lot more money, because Chronic made about 350 mil just from crab hats alone. After buying and selling crab hats for a little while, I got kinda bored, so I cashed out at about 25 mil in profit. With all these coins, I thought I might as well do a small manipulation, so I ended up buying out the Eat the Ward market, and after about 20 minutes, I made about 18 mil coins. I ended up doing some more crab hat flips. I then saw these mango dyed frozen blaze leggings for only 20 mil, and the dye itself is like 40 mil. So naturally I went ahead and bought that. Not long after, I found a lowballer who offered 28 mil for it, which would be a nice 8 mil flip. Since that flip did super well, I went ahead looking for other pieces, and I eventually found these Necron dyed leggings, and I put it straight back up for 51 mil. And of course it sold again for another free 5 mil. And here is a clip of me getting a pretty lucky snipe. Actually, oh my god, I actually got one for 55k. Oh my.
I saw it, but I didn't see it in time.
Buying dyed pieces are pretty fun, so I went ahead and bought this white Shadow Assassin chestplate. I also went ahead and bought another pair of wither goggles for 31 mil. I put it straight back up for 38 mil for a free 7 mil profit, and it instantly sold. I then saw this guy had a pretty maxed out Wise Dragon helmet for about 150 mil on his AH. I asked him to lower the price, and we eventually settled on 123 mil. After a bit of searching, I finally found a lowballer who was willing to pay 150 mil for it, which would be a nice and easy 20 mil profit. I also decided to invest in some crab hats and one Harvesting 6 book, cause why not? I managed to win these Wise Dragon boots that were dyed for only 1 mil, and obviously I put it back up for 10 mil for a free 8 mil profit. I was in the middle of getting my Shadow Assassin chestplate lowballed when the lowballer mentioned there was another one just like it on AH for a lot cheaper, so I went ahead and bought those pieces since it was for a pretty good price. I took all the dyed pieces and put them straight back on auction. I didn't feel like flipping anymore, so I just hopped off for the rest of the day. Alright, so it's been a while since my last clip, and all my armor did eventually sell, and I made about 25 mil in profit, which is not too shabby. And guess what I did with those coins that I just claimed? Yep, I went ahead and bought another dyed armor piece. I think you can start to see the trend here. I put it straight back up for 180 mil, and if that sold, that would be a solid 40 mil flip. You guys always ask how long these flips take, and this one specifically took about 3 days. I then bought this pretty weirdly enchanted livid dagger for 35 mil. It had Vicious 5, Sharp 7, and Soul Eater 5, so I thought this was a pretty good deal. It didn't take me long to find a lowballer who was willing to pay 60 mil for the livid dagger, so that's a free 25 mil profit. The next thing that I bought were these dyed storm boots for 25 mil. I put it back up for 35 mil, which would be a 10 mil flip. These last few flips were from the same guy because he recently lost his Hyperion and wanted some quick cash, so I ended up buying these fully maxed out Divan boots for 75 mil, which was a pretty good steal. I also bought this full storm set for only 40 mil in enchanted diamond blocks. A pretty easy way to make some quick money is to bid on dyed dragon pieces that people often overlook on the auction house. As you can see, I got these white strong dragon boots for only 2 mil, when at the time they were going for about 7 mil on bin, so that was a free 5 mil flip. The final item that I bought from him was this drill for 25 mil. I relisted all the items he gave me and hopped off for the day. The next day I got on and most of the items had sold except the drill and the dyed storm boots. The drill finally sold after 1 day of waiting, and the boots also sold after waiting for a solid 2 days. And just like that, we were sitting at about 350 mil coins plus some crab hats in my inventory. And I think that's the perfect place to end it. If you remember correctly, I started at about 100 mil coins, and now we are at 350 mil. Which is not too bad, but I did take quite a while to make this video. Which brings me to tell you to please consider subscribing, because it really helps me towards my goal of one day getting the YouTube rank. Alright, that's pretty much all I have to say. Peace.